All right, and we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Sorry for making you go back over it again, but we should be live now.
Alex, I apologize. I stepped away.
That's quite all right. So I'm just gonna rerun the intro real quick. So,
Are we
um,
starting over?
yeah, because a number of people hadn't seen what we had already done. Luckily, we only got
Okay.
4 questions in.
Okay.
But real quick, welcome to the Solar Integrated Roofing Corp investor update. With us today is Dave Massey of SIRC. Dave, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, Alex, I'm doing great. I think you asked me how I'm doing this morning, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah, my mistake. All right. So, did you have a statement you wanted to share with the shareholders, or did you want to jump right into questions?
Let me begin by saying I'm excited about the prospects for SRC as we enter into 2023. We spent the better part of the second half of last year restructuring the company, reducing costs, setting directions that we believe will ensure long-term growth and good returns for our shareholders.
All right. So let's jump right into those questions then. So, what were the circumstances leading to the resignation of the prior management team and your reinstatement as CEO of the company?
As I noted in my opening remarks, we've spent the past 6 months, the entire C-suite and senior executive team focused on organizing the company for success going forward. This included a complete overhaul of the organization. Today, we have a residential, commercial, and service teams that deliver solutions for roofing and solar markets we service. We reduced the headcount by more than 75, significantly reducing our cost. We consolidated our go-to-market strategy for both our residential and commercial businesses to ensure higher margins and greater predictability. And most importantly, with a team that's focused 100% on success of SRC rather than their own personal agenda. In addition, we are same place I got stuck last time.
It happens.
In addition, we were successfully able to settle a large number of lawsuits that had created that created distraction for me personally and the rest of the organization. We're tremendously proud of these achievements and could not have been done without the collaboration of the entire C-suite team. One of the key principles installed over the past 6 months is a focus on cost and cash flows, and the company today is the best position it has been to succeed, and we thank everyone that helped us get there.
All right. So, on to the next question. Since prior management resigned so soon after joining the company, what share compensation will they receive? Do they still receive the full benefit of equity that they would otherwise have been entitled to if they'd stayed on?
At SRC, we honor the obligations we have to all of our employees, which include cash compensation and stock obligations earned through the end of the time of service. To the best of my knowledge, at this time, we have no obligations any employee beyond that was earned prior to the end of their term of service.
All right. So, what effect does the resignation of the prior management have on the company's direction now?
We still have the same team that's in place. Myself and Wanda have always been here. We still have Troy and Brad who work very closely with us. We currently work as a team. We're currently focused on getting us cash flow positive. And part of the separation, but that was a great team. They're great executives. They're very well paid executives. And part of our group decision was to cut those costs. Myself, Wanda, and Troy also all took a pay cut. I took a very significant pay cut. And our goal is to build this thing, turn this into a cash register and generate cash monthly for the business.
Absolutely. What changes do you foresee resulting from your reinstatement as the CEO of the company? What's your long-term plan for growth?
Well, the changes that I see, some of the things I've done is I put in place a 3-10 to clear our balance sheet, which is, I told I've been preaching to everyone last 6 months. We're talking to banks. We're trying to raise money. The obstacle we ran into with our balance sheet had to get cleared to start getting people serious about giving us lines of credit and giving us money. So we did the 3-8-10. We cleared the balance sheet. We secured two very nice lines of credit that is going to give us the ability to do that. We have a couple large target acquisitions that we're looking at, and we'll be able to start funding our commercial projects and start moving the pipeline. Is going to be the focus and the changes you're going to see. Fourth quarter, we're reorganizing. We're pretty stagnant on growth. I think 2023, with this funding we have in place, we're going to come to the gate pretty quick and pretty strong.
Yeah, it's exciting to see. Do you intend to stay on as CEO of the company in the long term, or will you be looking again for new management to take over? And if you are staying on, are you continuing to search for qualified individuals to serve on the board and in other C-suite positions?
One of our targets we're looking at is has a tremendous talent team that's on board that we would integrate them where needed. They've literally have produced the model that we're trying to do now. So they've done it. They've been through it. They had a nationwide residential firm that's currently a company that does commercial funding for solar projects. They have a tremendous staff. I literally spent the entire afternoon with them today. So we'll put them in place. I will stay CEO as long as I can be effective and add value. Reason I resigned, last time, is I didn't feel like anyone had any confidence in me, and they thought I was lying, and I broke promises to them. That was never the case. I think the statements I made is I gave timelines that weren't met. I don't think they were broken promises. I just don't think I met the timelines. But I've learned my lessons. No timelines. Work hard. Keep my head down, and make sure it happens.
Absolutely. So, why has there been a lack of communications with shareholders recently? Does this Q&A signify your intention to resume regular shareholder communication?
The first part of the question, George was CEO. He was completely in charge, and that was his style. We filed the Form 10. He wanted zero communication with shareholders. He thought it was more of a liability than we should expose ourselves to. What we will do from this point forward, we will not take personal calls nor return personal emails. I will make a point to do a monthly or bi-monthly shareholder update. And I think the first quarter of the next 3 months, since we're going to be moving so fast, I think we'll do a plan update every 30 days. But we will and we'll work with MD Group to get our PRs out and keep everyone informed. But I think everyone knows I like to tell our story, and I'm very proud of our story.
Yeah, absolutely. So, would the company consider opening a Discord channel again for regular communication with shareholders?
I think that's too much liability. We don't want employees of the, I think it created a lot of problems for some of the employees that were abusing that privilege, and I don't think that's going to be worthwhile. But I think a monthly call with these types of questions. So people, I know there's a lot of gossip and rumors out there, and what's going on. There's a reason for this, reason for that. But I think clearing things up and getting a 30-day update would be best.
All right. So, can you provide any further information on the source and terms surrounding the 25 million in funding? Is that funding immediately available for SIRC's existing commercial project pipeline?
Yes, it is. We're looking at our first drawdown this week, and it's going to be funded like every 2 weeks. Again, it is an equity line of credit. So for growth, we're going to have to use some shares to raise some money and do some acquisitions. And it was brought to my attention before this call that it was announced that we raised our authorized shares. Yes, we did. We had to do it. We didn't have any shares left. But the only way we can grow and raise money and build this company to where it needs to be and not be stagnant and get our share price down to 2 cents is we have to grow this thing. So we did raise authorized shares for the financing and for the growth and these targets that we're looking at. The whole part of this is to do it right and create accretive value for the shareholders. And that's our goal, and that's our plan, and that's what we're going to do.
On that note, what are the highest priorities for the use of the recently received funding?
The highest priorities currently is to move the commercial pipeline.
Okay. And can you provide a status update on the major projects announced over the past couple of years, such as Callaway Farms, Hard Rock Hotels, Logan Ave, the Chicken Farms project, and the Alabama Schools project?
I'd like to give you an update on the three projects that are going to are in the forefront of the pipeline. We have the hotels down in South America that we're going to be funding them very soon and moving those projects to notice to proceed and getting them financed. I believe that's a $65 million project. We have the Lordsburg project. That's a $280 million project. We're going to get that funded and move that to notice to proceed also. And the Callaway Farms and negotiation is done. I just got phone with Brad. I believe he's ordering material and that's going to get started here probably 45, 60 days. And that's getting moving pretty quickly. And that's a $36 million project. So the latter part of the first part of second quarter is looking really, really good in the commercial pipeline. Nice thing about it is we can only bite off so much at a time. We have plenty left after that to start moving projects into place.
All right. Well, what's the status of recovering the 4.2 million deposit from Arbiter Bank?
I didn't know if we could do a Q&A without talking about Arbiter, but I guess we're going to talk about them. We have hired a law firm to go after $4.2 million. They are they're looking, and discussing the law firm and their ideas and their tactics are looking to not only go after 4.2, they're looking at market cap loss and opportunity loss. And I think they're looking to go after them for about $100 million is the original number. It's not been firmed up, but that's the original number that we discussed.
All right, all right. And then let's see. What progress can you share concerning SIRC's efforts to become cash flow positive and to collect on the significant amount of money in accounts receivable?
I believe the first part of this call was all about cash flow positive and generating cash. And that's the only thing we've really been focused on. The main part of our accounts receivable is work in progress, and that's a matter of moving these projects that we have in our pipeline to notice to proceed, where we actually get financing for these jobs, where they start paying us progress payments to start these projects. So we have to make an investment up front to get them out of the ground. Once we get them out of the ground and to notice to proceed, they will start funding. And we should be very cash flow positive by the middle part of April once these projects start moving.
Absolutely. So, what is the status of the Plemco acquisition? With the deadline nearing, has it been fully completed?
It's not fully completed. We are negotiating it now. We're very, very close. I think it will probably be done. It definitely will be done by the end of February, and we aren't too far apart.
Okay. And then next up, assuming that you can speak on them in general terms, what lawsuits are currently left pending, and how will these pending lawsuits affect the company's growth and trajectory moving forward?
Naturally, I can't speak about pending litigation at this time. We are focused on our business. I don't see anything that should affect our roadmap.
Okay. So the next question is, it's undeniable that most of SIRC's most high-profile acquisitions have resulted in litigation. What plans, procedures, and vetting processes have been implemented to ensure that the company isn't plagued with continuing legal disputes?
A couple things. One is we've changed our entire valuation process. We're breaking down based on EBITDA. We're paying currently about 1.5 times EBITDA for projects with a little share kicker, and that's seemed to be very well accepted. We don't have any make-whole provisions. It was obviously a learning process and we're building a business, and we had some challenges, but I think in the effect is still massively positive. The vetting the business is not only a challenge, vetting the people who run the business equally, if not more important, and having a good representation is paramount in making good decisions. As I have highlighted previously, the past 6 months has been a tremendous amount of work. The team did a fantastic job, and we have the process and team in place to ensure the best chance of success going forward. As you can tell, I'm kind of using my own words, and I have some statements that are, that were approved by the attorneys before I got on this. So I'm trying to blend them in there So I don't, and I realize it sounds like I am. So I just want everyone to know I'm aware of that.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is it's no secret that the company's stock has performed increasingly poorly over the past couple of years, with the stock reaching a recent low of 2 cents per share. What plans do you and the company have to revive interest in the company and motivate shareholders to continue investing given the negative downtrend?
We obviously don't control the stock or control the stock price. Only thing we can do is work hard, take our recent um, lines of credit that we have to have some accretive growth and grow the top line and the bottom line and be very, very consistent. You know, our problem we've been stagnant. We haven't really done anything. We haven't been raising money. I'm sure the word on the streets that we were going bankrupt and we didn't have any cash. Fortunately, that has changed. We have the cash to move the pipeline, get the cash flow going, and do some nice acquisitions.
Okay. With the company's NASDAQ uplisting strategy well documented, have you had any conversations with a SPAC about potentially going that route for an uplist?
I feel like someone's tapping my phone because it's so funny. All this stuff that I hear on the streets or the questions I get asked are things I deal with every single day. There, there's 227 SPACs out there right now that are looking for targets. I know for a fact, and talking to some of them, that SRC is high on the list. I can't say too much more about that because we're currently under NDA, but we feel like a SPAC would be the best way for us to get to NASDAQ. We could do that without doing a reverse. It'll create the best value for our shareholders. And I think if we can make that happen, I think it'd be a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. So, last question here. Will SIRC consider holding a shareholders meeting at any point in the future?
I think we're going to execute a lot of our plan over the next 45 days, and I feel like the middle part of April in San Diego would be a good time for a shareholders meeting. We don't have it set up, we don't have a reservation, but I think we can put that together and we can plan on having a shareholders meeting probably the middle of April.
Okay. So, I think that's all the questions we have lined up for you today. Um, on that note, I hope you have a wonderful night. Oh, wait, hold on. One more question. I scrolled right by this. So, do you have any additional statements for the shareholders or any like closing statements you'd like to provide before we sign off?
My closing statement is I realize the last 3 months have been tough, and I take full responsibility for it. I think we're coming back strong in the first quarter with the funding that we have in place, the targets that we have in place. We reorganized SIRC, and so we're much more efficient. We cut a lot of dead weight. We're very focused. We have the right team in place. We're bringing on the right team. We're very driven to make this happen. And 2023, I think, will be very successful.
All right. On that note, I hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks for talking to us, Dave.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.